Welcome back to another episode of the Migration Waterfowl podcast. I appreciate you all coming back and joining me today. I've got a repeat guest on tonight, special guest all the way from California, Mr. George Parker. How's it going tonight, George?
Oh, doing as good as I can do. Starting to get busy. Everybody's thinking about ducks.
Yeah, we were just talking before we hit the record button about the show season picking back up, and it's going to be going crazy here for the next 3-4 weeks.
Yeah. Our first show's tomorrow, Squad Fest, which might have been last weekend if you're hearing this after July 18th. But then we go Delta in Oklahoma City, and then we're going to Memphis, Tennessee for the Ducks Unlimited Expo, and then back up to Anoka, Minnesota for Game Fair, and then over to Oshkosh, Wisconsin for the Waterfowl Expo. So, we've got a lot going on.
Yeah, full schedule for sure.
Yeah.
So I was looking, I can't believe it's been over a year since you were on. That was back on, I think we released that one the beginning of July.
Yeah.
But episode 10. So we're still here grinding away with help of great partners like you, and glad to have you back.
Yeah, man, glad to be back. It's awesome seeing your progress too. You know what I mean? Like, you've had some amazing guests, and this thing is relatively new too, right? So not only is Bluebird Waterfowl relatively new, but the Migration Waterfowl podcast has come from nothing and turned into a significant knowledge base for waterfowl hunters. So congratulations to you as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been fun to grow together and take this journey and, meet some new people, and just going to keep knocking it out over the next 12 months for sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, we can't stop. Just got to keep going, baby. I mean, as soon as waterfowl season ends, it feels like it comes right back around, You go through little phases of, I'm a big bass fisherman myself, so, I look forward to that springtime bass fishing. But, gosh, this waterfowl season snuck up on me. It's going to be here in just a couple of months for early teal.
Yeah, summer just flew by this year. I don't know if it's just doing that the older I get or what, but it seems like we just got done putting everything away for the season, and now we're getting it back out again.
That's right. Might as well just leave it out,
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind, just take a quick second and do a reintroduction for those who may have missed that last episode you were on.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's George Parker. I'm the owner of Bluebird Waterfowl. Our company specializes in waterfowl spinning wing decoy accessories, which is kind of a market space that has never been attempted before. So we make cool stuff that attaches onto decoys that you already own. Our flagship product is the Animator. It's introduced the concept of using water sound to attract and finish waterfowl, and it's been extremely effective all over the country. And the best part about my company is that if it's not effective for you, we give you your money back. So, it's a one-man show over here. We have our boys out in Arkansas that ship all of our products for us. It's just a more centralized location. We've got Rocky Stockdale and his wife, Sarah Stockdale, out there. And then we've got my dad and my stepmom up in Oregon who take care of the West Coast shipping out here. So it's very small, very family-oriented company, and super proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch your growth, and now you've got some new product lines coming out. And man, I've gotten so much positive feedback from my listeners and my friends here in Western Pennsylvania that use it. They're just blown away by their success, and looking forward to the new stuff you have coming out.
Yeah. I mean, we are too. The problem with it just being me over here is that we don't have a massive team of engineers that's checking everything that I do. You know what I mean? So when I was in college, I'd write my paper, and then I'd have my grandfather, who was an English professor, kind of overlook it before I turned it in. It's like I feel like I'm just constantly turning in midterm papers that haven't been looked at. The Animator is not without its flaws. Over the last couple of years, we found a lot of things wrong with it, and thank goodness for our customers for alerting us, and we were able to replace those products and get them fresh ones out. But identifying those issues with the products right off the bat has been huge for us. So this year we're releasing what we're calling our V2, which is essentially the Animator minus all the crap. we've been dealing with a lot of crap over the last couple of years. Magnets falling out, wobbling animators, losing wings, heavy plates. So we've made major changes to the animator this year. We've added fiberglass into the nylon, so the camshafts are extremely strong. They're durable, flexible. We've also decreased the plate by 30%, and we've increased the cylinder size on a couple of the animators to prevent that wobble. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I wouldn't blame you. The animator is pretty new. So what the animator is it is a camshaft device that attaches onto a spinner, and it drops into the water with a fully adjustable plate, and you're able to clap the water with your spinning wing decoy. So not only does it add the water motion, what we actually accidentally stumbled upon was the advent of using water sound to attract ducks. So that's what I'm talking about upgrading, is the animator.
Yeah, for sure. There's probably not too many people listening that don't know about it. I talk about it every week, several different ways and several different times. So, but
You
yeah,
never.
yeah. I mean, we always got new listeners coming in the door, so that's great that you hit on that. Did you get to hunt it all last year, or were you busy running your business?
Dude, I was getting ready to go hunt early teal in Louisiana with my friends, and I broke my hand in September, like September 10th, dude. Like, so right before the season, I was walking my
Right.
freaking dog, and I got tripped up and hit the concrete, and yeah, I've never had the ground come up at me so hard. Like, it felt like the earth just got thrown at me, and all of a sudden, my hand
Wow.
hurt, and I've never broken a bone before. I'm 40 years old, so that was a whole new experience for me. And one thing I can tell you is I had no interest in hunting after that experience. That was probably the most pain I've ever had in my life. I broke that boxer's bone down in there, a couple of them. So yeah, I was not able to hunt last season. It really did suck.
Yeah. Yeah. How long did that take to heal?
Oh, I mean, just finally now. I mean, we're moving into August now, and I'm finally able to move it again like normal. It's the I'm not sure what they call it, atrophy or something. Your muscles get, like, when they're broken and they heal, they get all weird, dude. And I couldn't make a fist forever. So, like,
Right.
grabbing anything, or a gun, or even a fishing pole, dude, like, it just felt weird. Every morning my hand would be stuck open like this, and I'd have to work it and get it to go. So just now I'm starting to get back to normal. So I'd say probably about a year. you know.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a long time to be dealing with that. And yeah, I'm glad it's getting better for you.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm excited to do more hunting this year, and but it's so difficult because the company keeps growing, and I really want to stay in touch and be the guy that always answers the phones, that's always here for you when you need me to get the questions answered. And it's difficult because, like, I'll try to go hunting and my phone's ringing, and I don't want to not take that call because that could be
Sure.
a customer that needs help. I've helped a lot of people while they're in the blind, so it's not uncommon for me to be in the blind and take a call from another hunter in the blind. So it's a little more difficult. I didn't plan on this turning into a business, but we've been blessed and fortunate that it has done as much as it's done so far. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So walk us through kind of the new things coming out for this year. You touched on a little bit of the changes, but I want to give you an opportunity to talk about some of the newer things.
Yeah, so I talked about the V2 a little bit. The V2 is going to be a great new asset for waterfowl hunters. It's available online right now. There's also a chance for your listeners, if they'd like to, call me directly with the phone number on the website. I'm sure we're not going to run out of them anytime soon, but the version ones, I'd be more than happy to give you like 50% off of a version one. I just want to talk to you personally so we can go over like what to do if it does malfunction, and get you all
Sure.
tuned up on that. So we have plenty of version ones for you. But moving into like a new product line, we were pumped. Like last year, I can't remember when it happened, but it was like February or something, and I was walking my dog, and I never take my phone with me when I walk my dog, which sucked when I broke my hand, by the way, because I had to walk a freaking mile back to the house, and I couldn't call my wife. But I do a lot of self-reflection and try to, like, get my head on straight on my walks. And I was thinking of that book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's an
Mm-hmm.
excellent read, and one of the things in that book is just about taking action. Like why are you waiting? Why don't you just do it? And everybody always has a reason to procrastinate. And I've been thinking about making our own design of spinning wings, like just the wing, for a few years now. If anybody's had a beer with me, they've heard about my wings. I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna do this someday. Like I'm excited about them. But on that walk, it was right before we went out to where were we going? We were going to the show where I met you at, Great American Outdoor Show out in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And it was like 4 days before I left for that show, and I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm doing it. And I came home and I got on my 3D printer and I got on my computer and I already had the wing connections from the animator. I designed that whole animator myself, so I was able to hop into the computer, take the animator part off, add this wing connection on, and all of a sudden I had these little connectors. These little. In fact, I got a couple of them right here. These little prototype wing connectors. Super simple, basic idea. And then all I needed now was some foam. So I went down to Walmart, got myself some foam board, cut out what I thought would be an awesome shape for a brand new wing, and glued them in, stuck a couple toothpicks in it, and right out to Pennsylvania. And the idea was to put this in front of people and see what they thought about it. Is it stupid? Because if it's stupid, I don't want to put my time and effort, and more importantly, our company money, into making something that people aren't interested in. So I put these things on display out at Great American Outdoor, and the amount of people that stopped and did like that, dog waiting for a treat look where your head kind of tilts sideways, they're like, what? Yeah. That looks like a Baby Mojo, but those don't look like the normal wings. In fact, I got a set of them running back here. They're round and they're patent pending. So the idea was this. We have a product out here in California called the Blade. And the Blade is a 2.5 foot wide, 10 inches tall piece of metal that's black on one side and white on the other, and it sits on a football goalpost. It's got its own battery, its own motor, and it just woof, 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 just it is the ugliest thing in the world. It does not look like a duck at all. They cost $500, and guys out here crush birds with them. They just crush birds with them. I mean, serious hunters will have two or three of them in their spread. Okay. So I got to thinking, why don't we turn our spinning wing into a blade? What would that look like if we were able to turn our spinning wing decoy into a blade type situation, an oversized, super reflective paddle that we can use to traffic birds when they won't come down from 200 to 300 yards. So what I did is I made this paddle. I took it out to a field by my house, and some of you may have seen this video that I posted on my Instagram story back in February, and I put a standard Mojo right next to another standard Mojo with our new wings on them, our 8-inch slow motion wings. And I backed off about 30 yards, and I'm taping, and I'm all excited, and I'm like, oh, dude, these things are sick. I'm at 30 yards, and I run back to 50 yards, and I'm like, oh, these are at 50 yards, and then I run back to 100 yards, and you can't even barely see the regular Mojo at 100 yards. And it got me thinking, at 100 yards, you're working birds. Like, you're getting ready to shoot at 100 yards. You're ducking. You're getting quiet. You're hitting your finish calls. Like, you're preparing to fire at these birds if they cup up and come in at 100 yards. For sure. Right? We're shooting at 30. And then from 100 to 30 with the wild waterfowl, that don't take long at all. No. So it got me to thinking, how far away do these ducks actually see these spinners? And why is it in California a 2.5 foot wide piece of metal is able to traffic ducks down from 200 or 300 yards? And it made sense. These birds don't even see your spinners at 100 yards. So putting these paddle style wings on a standard Mojo decreases the wing speed about 20 to 30%, and it just creates this super rich dark strobing effect that to me has an immediate ocular reaction to these ducks that are too high to see your standard spinners. And I truly believe they're going to change the game. So our new product this year for 2025, it's simple. It's called Wings with a Z because it had to be fancy. You know, so yeah, we made wings, and I think the coolest part about these wings is an asset that's been missing for at least hunters that hunt over water is that they float. 100% buoyant. I've had a set in my backyard in a trash can full of water for the last, what has it been, 5 months now, and still floating. They don't absorb water,
Wow.
they just float. So really, really cool product. Comes with the Bluebird Waterfowl warranty, and we're releasing them this year. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially when you start testing like that, field testing and seeing how far. I've actually got a drone here that I was going to take out two of my spinning wing decoys and put different ones on there that you sent me and give that a try. Just kind
Yeah.
of like take the drone way above it. So I'll
Yeah.
be releasing that. I'll be getting to that here soon. But that makes perfect sense. And not thinking about the regular wings that come with those that they kind of just get washed out after so far. That's you know that definitely gonna help out.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to change the entire dynamic. You know, what we're trying to do with the wings is create an environment where hunters can change the wing type or the wing color, not just day by day, but hour by hour. So I told you I'm a big bass fisher. Do you bass fish, Brian?
Oh yeah, yep,
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're going to use the black worm, Texas favorite, right? That
yep.
black worm in Texas has been the gold standard for decades, and everybody uses it. Um, but what happens when they stop biting it? You just pick up and go home, or do you try something else? Right?
Start changing it. Yep.
We change things up. But what happens when the birds flare off your spinner? What do? Pull it, right? Just pull the whole
Yeah.
damn thing. Why are we using it if it's scaring my ducks? How come we haven't thought about the fact that different colors, different sizes, or different shaped wings might affect these animals differently? So our first release of these wings is not a black and white. It's a very dark maroon and white. It looks black to the eye, but when the sun hits it, it's kind of got a brown shade to it. They've got feather imprints on both sides. So the paddle prints, if they do land white side up, still have feather prints on them to make it, you know, some type of shorebird, whatever you want to call it, a crane or a, you know, maybe a snow goose. Out here we got a lot of snows mixed in with our spreads out here. But we've designed these wings intentionally to give the hunter options, right? So we make the 6-inch paddle, the 8-inch paddle, and then we've got our new low light wings as well, which you can see right behind me here. And if you're just listening, they're just colored on both sides, feather patterns. Now, what we've done is very interesting. We've taken a feather pattern and we've lightened it to like a gold. And then the other side is the exact same feather pattern on a darker brown. Now, one thing that's special about my wings, I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to see it in person. When these things spin, the wings look like they're just stable, but the feathers are just pumping. Now, why would we take away the white side when we're dealing with a spinner? Isn't the whole idea that we want that strobing effect? The answer is yes and no. We want the strobing effect because of the ocular reaction it causes in a bird's brain. That's why they're illegal in so many states, because it does something to their head scientifically. That strobing effect attracts a lot of young birds, which is why later in the season they don't work as well. So
Yeah.
if that ocular reaction is positive to the birds in the early season, but negative to the birds in the late season, why, instead of pulling out the decoy, don't we just change the way that it strobes? So instead of having a white and black side that has a deep, rich strobing effect, triggering that ocular reaction, our new feather print just creates a 3D effect of a mallard just landing in the water. You don't have any strobe, but as those birds are coming in to finish, they see them wings pumping, but they're not going to see them from far away. It's not a strobe. So it gives you an opportunity to keep your spinner out, to use that 3D effect of a bird landing without the strobing effect. And our low lights come in a 9-inch and an 11-inch. So the idea here, Brian, is we wanted to make a set of wings that people take with them. Right? You bring 4 sets of wings with you every hunt. You bring the slow motion, you bring the low light, you bring the high vis, and you bring the wings that your decoy came with. Now, you go out in the morning and you're using the 6-inch high vis, right? You want to grab their attention early. And all of a sudden, that sun creeps up over the hill and they're flaring off that high vis. I'm putting on my low lights. I'm going to hit those low lights while those birds are still flying low so I can have that 3D effect, finish my ducks, and get shot. Now, as the sun gets up a little higher and those birds get up a little higher, maybe we need to traffic them. We need to put on those 8-inch slow motion. So watching the birds per hour and changing your wings by where they are and how they're reacting is just the same thing as changing a lure for bass fishing. You know, I'm fishing a stick bait in the morning, a Sammy or a gunfish or something, and then, you know, buzz bait. I'm switching as soon as that sun cracks over. I'm going to a jerk bait or a chatterbait, and when that sun gets up real high and those fish want to cool off, I might be using a 10XD down deep or fishing a jig. It's the same concept. These animals change their behavior as the day goes on. They change their behavior as the weather changes. How come we're not changing what we're providing to the ducks as the weather changes? Change your wings, change your luck. That's what we're trying to introduce.
Yeah, that makes a heck of a lot of sense. I'm looking forward to putting that into action. Now, you mentioned something interesting. You know, some people say that over the years, spinning wing decoys seem to flare more birds nowadays. What's your opinion on that?
You know, spinning wing decoys do flare ducks, but we believe, like I said, it's because of that ocular reaction, that scientific trigger. So the strobing effect that triggers those birds to come in can do the exact same thing and trigger them to be afraid. If every time they approach something that's triggering them to come in, that ocular reaction, and then they hear gunshots, they're going to make that pattern. So what do we do about it, right? Well, for one, we could try our new wings with the low lights or the paddles. We could do something like that, but that's really where the animator comes in. I truly believe that the one thing that's missing from a spinning wing decoy is the fact that that bird is supposed to be landing. That bird is supposed to be taking off, right? Why isn't it moving water? Why isn't it making sound? We've all heard a bird take off. We've all heard a bird land, but that thing's just sitting there quietly, just hovering over the water. These birds get used to it. My opinion is you slap an animator on that thing, you get that water sound, you get that water motion, you break up that surface tension where that bird looks like it's landing, and it changes the entire dynamic of how you can hunt a spinning wing decoy. So, yeah, standard spinning wing decoys, they can flare birds, which is why we're trying to bring an entirely new flavor to that. We want to introduce changing your wings. We want to introduce change in the water tone. We want to give you an opportunity to use your spinner with no wings at all, right? Yeah, we've got all different kinds of options. So instead of putting that thing in the garage at the end of the season, you just, you know, change it.
Right. Yeah, I think that's huge. You talking about having people get to see it in person, whether it's at a show or to go to your website and see the videos. What else you got planned for educating the customers on this?
Oh, you know, actually, we just got finished yesterday. I went down to our first studio shoot. So just trying to create more knowledge base and let folks know exactly how to use the animator. You know, for instance, adjusting the plate height just even a 1/4 inch changes the entire tone dynamic of how it hits the water. And, you know, like a cadence of a call. You know, if you're hitting that thing wrong, you're going to spook birds. If it's hitting just right, you're going to bring them in. Also, some days the hail call works. Some days you got to hit the feed. Some days you don't hit that meat call at all. You're going to be using whistles. So just depending on how the birds are reacting, what we're trying to create with this knowledge base of videos is that the animator gives you options to change the tone of the water, to change the sound of the water, and to use water sound effectively to attract and finish waterfowl, because it's an entirely new concept. And I thank God every day that people are starting to catch on to it, because the first year was tough trying to tell people that water sound matters. But there's hundreds of 5-star reviews on our website, and we post all of our reviews. There's 1-star reviews, 2-star, 3-star reviews on there, but we have over 280 5-star reviews on our product, and it's because it works. And if it doesn't work, you get your money back. So that's what I've really been focusing on, is just educating the consumer on what the animator is and how to use it properly.
Yeah, I think there were some questions, you know, when you first came out, you know, how that was going to affect people's hardware on their spinners. But I think that's all been put to bed. I mean, with the exception, I think you told me one story where there was like an issue with a spinner, but I run a couple of them. All my friends run a bunch of them with animators on there. We've not seen any detriment to the motors or any of the hardware on the spinners themselves.
Right. And it's decoy by decoy, Brian. Honestly, the way I look at these decoys nowadays, they're like flowers. Like they're pretty, they're cool when they work, but they die, and you get new ones, right?
Sure.
That's just the way it is. So, um, if there was something we could put on our call, let's just say there was some type of a weird pin we could put in our call, and that weird pin helped you finish more birds. In fact, that weird pin had a guarantee to help you kill more birds, but it means you would have to buy a new call every couple of years. Would you use that pin, right?
Yeah.
I would. I'd be hitting
Absolutely.
that call all day long with that pin in there, just knowing I'm going to buy a new call in a year or two, right? So that's the way I got to look at this animator, because the truth is these decoys were not designed to carry the animator. So we are adding extra stress. We are adding extra wear on the motors. That's a fact. But I'm killing more ducks. And when I'm looking at what I spend to do this hobby, I don't even like to think about it, right? Because out here in California, our shells are like $1.35 a piece. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not a good shot. So I'm spending money when I go hunting.
Sure.
Fueling the boat, fueling the truck, food, you know what I mean? Like there's so many different aspects to waterfowl hunting that are expensive. If I have to buy an $80 decoy every year or every couple years, it does not bother me at all, because I know that this water sound technique changes the entire environment around my spread. We pulling in birds from spreads next door, and they're coming over afterwards asking us what we're using. It's a completely unique device, and regardless of what condition your decoy is in, I'd say run the animator till that decoy dies, and then go pick up a new one and make sure you run the animator on that. And if you do change your decoy at any point, if you go from like a Mojo to a Lucky Duck, all you got to do is call us, and we'll get you an exchange cam out there, as quick as possible. So you don't have to buy the entire product again. You could just switch the camshaft and get that new thing out. But, it is difficult. We have had people call and, hey, man, your animator blew up my decoy. And I'm like, okay, tell me what happened. Well, I have two brand new Mojos, and I got two animators, and I put them both on each. I put one on each decoy, and then the Drake Mojo just stopped working. And I go, okay. And what happened to the hen? Is the hen still running? Oh yeah, the hen runs great. And I go, okay. So you put an animator on both decoys, and one of them's running it perfectly, and the other one is not. But somehow it's the fault of the animator. So it's no question in my mind, I'm buying this dude a new decoy, right? Because there's nothing I hate more than an unhappy customer. So
Sure.
I picked that dude up at what does a baby Mojo cost? $65. So I had it shipped
something
right
like
to his front door. It was there in a week, and he hasn't had any problems since. So we've had 2 or 3 people over the 8,000 animators that we sold last year alone call up and say, hey, I think your animator did something to my decoy. And in reality, it could have. Maybe your decoy was on its way out, and if you didn't touch it and it was in pristine condition, it would have ran for another, few months. But as soon as you add that extra pressure onto that decoy, it just put it over the edge, right? That can happen, and that's a risk that we have to take using the animator. We can't be held responsible for the condition of your decoy before or after using the animator. But like I said, I'm trying to kill ducks, so if I got to go through a decoy every couple of years to do that, I got no problem.
Yeah. And we're, like you said, we're replacing, upgrading, and swapping out equipment all the time. So that's just wear and tear on, the life of everything we have.
Right. It's I want to do whatever I can to stand out, bottom line, So, and
Sure.
I really think that Bluebird Waterfowl products are going to help people do that. I'm so excited that we've been blessed with these crazy ideas, because I feel like we accidentally broke the glass ceiling. You know what I mean? We've been in touch with some of the new or with some of the owners of these other companies. I talked to Terry Denman multiple times a year, the owner of Mojo. Tim No, the owner of Lucky Duck. I know Avian X just switched hands, but I've been in touch with these folks and letting them know we don't want to be a threat to anybody. Our entire goal in being involved in the waterfowl community and selling our products is to just be a part of the world, of the community. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we don't have plans on coming out with our own spinner. We're not trying to step on anybody's toes. It is a unique thing to make an accessory that fits onto someone else's product.
Sure.
But I think it's a really cool concept, and we've been blessed with these owners being totally fine with the fact that we exist. So really fortunate.
That's great. What's been your biggest surprise over the last 12 months or however long it's been since you started?
Oh, the biggest surprise? That's a hard one. I got a phone call from a guy, Matt McCall from Bayou Dragons. I gave him an animator to try. We met him at a trade show, and I gave him a couple animators to try on their king mallards. And I kept calling him every few months, like, hey, how's that thing working out for you? What are you doing to make it work better? Have you been using it? I got nothing. I'm ghosted, right? All of a sudden, I get a phone call from this dude. I think it was like middle of January, and he goes, hey, George, sorry I haven't called you back, man. I've got some news, and I just wanted to call you and tell you personally. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on? He goes, well, I think your animator broke my decoy. And I'm going, oh man, like, tell me what happened. And he goes, well, we had some mallards coming in, and two of them just ran right into the animator and knocked it over into the water. And I'm going, you mother! I thought he was going to tell me something bad happened, and you hear the whole car erupt with laughter. And I'm going, dude, am I on speakerphone? And the whole crew of the Bayou Dragons was in there, and they were just like, dude, we're here to tell you, like, I'm sorry we haven't used this thing sooner. This thing is sucking in greenheads like a vacuum cleaner in our area, and it works extremely well in the places that we're hunting. And I was so pumped to hear that report finally after all those months. I would say that was probably my biggest surprise, was hearing back from those boys and it being such an amazing review. And it got it on video, too, of that mallard knocking that decoy over. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, that seems to be pretty common. I mean, they're not afraid to get close to it. I haven't had any hit it, but I've seen a few come real close, and we probably shot them before they would hit it. So.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, when you see ducks landing, they tend to land together. Yeah. You'll see a bird, and then right behind it, right? Right. I think that's why these ducks try to land on the animator, is because that water sound triggers their comfort. They're like, okay, I hear a duck landing. I'm going to land right next to that duck, because that's obviously a real duck landing. That's the only thing I can think, is that the water sound is really triggering them to feel safe. And I think that's actually the biggest asset about the animator, the big secret. That water sound makes them feel safe.
Yeah, for sure. So looking down the road, where do you expect to be a year from now, since we've already made it through this first year together?
Down the road a year from now, man, I hope our wings are on every single decoy across this country and everybody's happy with them. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's where I'd like to be a year from now, is to see that another product that I've come up with has broken that glass ceiling and changed the dynamic in the way that people use their spinning wing decoys. That would be a really rewarding feeling if I was able to take this stupid looking wing and turn it into the most powerful new asset for waterfowl hunters, because I truly believe it's going to change the industry like that. And if I could see that happen a year from now, I would feel blessed again, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's a reason why you're our title sponsor. We believe in the product as much as you. We've had a full season on it now, and just super impressed. And I'm really excited for these new wings this year too. I don't think it's going to be any less impressive.
Yeah, I sure hope not. We're going to find out. I did send out about, how many prototypes did we send out? We must have sent out like 90 or 100 prototypes around the country.
Nice.
You've got a set of prototypes. That's what you've got right now. Those aren't the final product.
Yep.
And everybody who ordered prototypes, who took a risk on this early on with us, is actually going to get final product wings sent to them as well. So thank you to everybody who helped us launch this project. But I heard back from one of the guys, because I told everybody, and I probably told this to you too, I said, put them out in the wind, put them out in the rain, keep them in your truck, throw them in your backpack, take them to work, put them under the couch, let your dog chew on them. I want to know how and when these things are breaking.
Right.
And so I got a phone call from this guy, and he goes, hey, man, I put these wings on my Avian X, which, by the way, Avian X, that decoy weighs like 9 pounds. Like, it is a big heavy decoy.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
I heard there was some weather coming in, so I put it out in the front yard, and it tipped over, and it seemed to do okay. And I said, "Your Avian X tipped over in the wind?" He said, "Oh yeah, it was blowing like 60 or 70, so yeah, it took it right out of the grass and rolled it across the yard." And I couldn't help but think, how cool is it that this guy put his decoy out there for us? But secondly, how cool is it that these wings survived a tumble roll with a 9-pound decoy? That really opened my eyes and gave me some peace, because I was really concerned because of the material that we're using to make these wings float. It's not a hard plastic, it's a new material that we've come up with. And to hear that from our prototype testers, it was really freaking cool. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
So was there anything else you wanted to cover on the new stuff before we wrap it up tonight?
I mean, you know what? We've got our wings bag. So the wings bag, I got so caught up with the freaking wings, I forgot to tell you about the wings bag. So, if we're asking you guys to carry 3 or 4 sets of wings per decoy, the only thing we could do respectfully is create a way for you to carry them. Right? So instead of having to throw them in your blind bag, and I mean, we're already losing wings as it is. They're getting, mixed up in the blind bag and getting tossed into backpacks. Yeah. And so we came up with a wings bag. It is, it's 12 inches wide, 14 inches tall. It's rubberized mesh, and it's got this protective plate on the inside that keeps it from bending. So that plate will protect the wings from bending. There's slots in the base to protect the paint for up to 3 sets of wings. There's a grommet to put a carabiner if you want to carry it on the side of a pack-in hunt. But basically, you put your wings in this thing, you throw them in your blind bag, you know that they're drying, and you know that they're protected. So those wings bags are on pre-order right now too. We're going to have them in August. But yeah, I mean, I think that's all the new stuff. We've got the V2 animators. We've got the new wings release, which there's 4 types of wings for over 35 decoys. So just make sure you find out which decoy that you need to get it on. You can always call me if you'd like to, 800-564-0914. The number's on the website. But find out what wings you need, and then, pick up one of these wings bags, dude. I'm pretty excited about that too. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah, that's a nice little touch there. Throw in something extra that will keep them protected too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, George, I appreciate your time as always. I appreciate the partnership. We've had a lot of fun this past year, and I know it's going to keep getting better, my friend.
Absolutely, man. I'm super excited for you too. So just to be back on the show is such an honor to kind of where you're going too, man. I mean, I'm happy to be right here with you, and we're going to continue to be a huge sponsor of the Migration Waterfowl podcast, and we're looking forward to seeing where you go too, Brian.
I appreciate that. So you're on all the socials too. Everybody just has to type in Bluebird Waterfowl to find you everywhere.
Yeah,
website. Yeah, okay.
Yep, bluebirdwaterfowl.com, and then Bluebird Waterfowl on all the socials. But yeah, I mean, I would urge you guys to give me a follow, mainly because I do a lot of talking to my customers, whether it be on the phone, through email, or through my stories. And sometimes I just do crazy things like discount my products like 60% for no reason, just to see who's listening. So yeah, right. Give us a follow on Insta and Facebook. TikTok, I think, is BB Animator. But yeah, man, you can always call me if you have questions too.
All right, George, I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care.